Right, and to give us a heads up on the possible recommendation of the IATF, we have Special Advisor to the task force, Dr. Ted Herbosa, now joining us over Zoom. Dr. Herbosa, good evening. Thanks for coming back on the show. Doc, how do you think the IATF will be deciding on this matter?
Good evening, Sean, and thank you for inviting me. I agree with Chairman Benhur Abalos. There are many things we need to address. Number one is the new cases. Are the new cases continuing to increase or are they decreasing? For all intents and purposes, we've got 2 days of about 10,000 and 11,000. So I do hope that carries and continues to decline. However, our hospitals are continued to be a full house. So that means it's harder for a patient who gets sick to be admitted to a critical care bed or ICU bed. And that's a factor that can happen. That can remember August last year, the doctors requested for a timeout for an extension of the ECQ. Whereas the other things we need to do, Sean, is that we need to increase and ramp up testing. Our daily output of about 50,000 tests per day is still way below what we expect, which is about 100 to 120,000 tests per day. And we need to keep testing to identify the positives and then isolate them and then be able to treat them. If we're able to do that, I think the localized lockdowns that was mentioned by Chairman Abalos would be effective, and also the continued ramping up of vaccination program. Vaccinating most of the adults, especially in NCR, can help us protect the individuals from going into critical or severe illness.
All right. So having said all of that, Dr. Herbosa, and also based on our current data and of course, anecdotally, your experiences from on the ground, do you think we can already afford a downgrade to MECQ status? Of course, let's keep it to just medically speaking without any economic provisions.
Yeah, if I speak medically, I'd go for a continued ECQ. But of course, because that will help our hospital and our health professionals be able to breathe with the increase and number of cases, new cases that are adding up in the hospitals. But of course, the IATF, which is an interagency task force, looks also at other things like the ayuda, the continued ECQ would cost money. So are we going to allow our economics to balance? So it's a balance between health and economics, and it's really a hard balancing act. It's a juggling act for our IATF members.
Right, especially with all the numbers always in flux. Now, on the matter of LGUs, Dr. Herbosa, what should they do to ensure that the possible downgrade will not result in complacency? I know we ask you this all the time, but it seems better enforcement is called for.
I think, enforcement is one, but I think people should also understand that at household level, we can also protect ourselves and make sure that if we behave and stay home voluntarily, if we don't need to go out, we will contribute to the decline of the transmission. Also, we know that if the LGUs continue to actually be strict in areas where there are many cases, then we can actually be able to also break transmission. Sean, we already know the things to do to break transmission. Wear a mask, wear a face shield, don't go out to places with so many people. These things are knowledge to us already. It's our first and a half year already fighting this pandemic. And then now the difference is that this time we have vaccines. That's the difference. Our first ECQ, we had no vaccines. Our second ECQ, we had no vaccines. This is our third ECQ. And now we have the vaccines, and we're having more people getting vaccinated. And it's just a matter of supplies coming on and ramping up vaccination as well in the different LGUs.
Right, like you said, Dr. Herbosa, it is a balancing act. Do you think the hospitals in the capital region will be able to handle, for example, we do shift to a slightly more lenient quarantine status, like I think the next one would be MECQ. Do you think this will reflect in hospital utilization and taking up capacity?
So what happens is any decline caused by the ECQ will take about another week. So if you notice, the decline in our cases happened on the 10th or 11th day after we imposed the ECQ. There was a continued increase in the first week, and we thought it was going to continue. But luckily, also in the previous ECQs, it happens on the 10th day that the cases start to go down. So if that trend is correct, and we don't have any other super spreader events that can cause more cases, I think I'll be happy to say that the hospitals will be able to cope by this time with the increased capacity and preparedness of the different hospitals. We should be able to take care of everybody that gets sick critically.
All right, thank you so much, as usual, for your time. That was IATF Special Advisor Dr. Ted Herbosa joining us via Zoom. Thanks, Dr. Ted.